Pounders, we are back. No amount of strep throat is going to keep us down for that long. And man, we missed the whole last week. So I apologize about that, but feeling a lot better now. And we're going to be jumping into the week 7 slate on Underdog with Nick, aka NF42. You probably seen him somewhere at the top of the leaderboards, no matter if it was only for a few seconds. It was only for a few seconds. Tell us about that little bad beat you had to start the show.
Yeah, that was it's tough. So Thursday night,
Is
kerfuffle.
it the kerfuffle?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very unfortunate. I came in 14th place, so I can't complain completely. Unfortunately, I had Tannehill in my lineup. He had 2 points. Um, couldn't finish the game out with that ankle injury. But if he would have had at least 9 points, the team was looking like a first place finish. So it's hard to go from like 15,000 to like a $600 victory. It hurts. It digs
Yeah.
deep.
It feels like, it literally feels like you just got kicked right in the nuts, even though it's a net positive day.
Yeah. Well, we've all been there. So
100%, 100%. 2 weeks ago, finishing, like being in the second spot, like in Battle Royale for 15K, and then just seeing it like go away so fast with half of a game left in 3 games or 4 games.
yeah,
And
you're
just see
floating on
like
cloud nine, and then all of a sudden now you're falling from
uh,
like a 90-foot building.
like like people yeah, dude, people coming from like 500 spots away with Chase and Brees Hall
Yeah.
and just completely surpassing you after like a few 60-yard touchdowns. It's like you need flat scoring, the opposite happens. And that's just sort of the name of the game. It changes so quickly, and I've had it change in my favor quickly. So
Right.
not complaining is just part of the landscape. Here, I'll pull this up. This was a cute little finish in a contest that was obviously not nearly as big as Battle Royale, but did 2 kerfuffles a couple weeks back, and we get an 8-spot finish, which I feel like these contests, the 2-game contests, are more about quantity, getting that pairing that you, um that's otherwise typically hard to get, or,
Yeah. Unattainable.
like ADP advantage by
Yeah.
drafting multiple. Do you feel that way with those 2-game contests?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to give myself a shot at having those, juggernaut teams that are hard
Mhm.
to get to. But I also felt like that way with just the last one with the Monday Thursday night slates.
Yeah.
Like I have a team that's had Eckler, Kamara, CD, Michael Thomas, and I've done so many of them where it's so hard. And it was out of the one position, so Thomas normally doesn't come back on the 3-4 turn anyway. And
Right,
then team doesn't look so great now with Eckler only
right.
getting like 8 points, but it feels nice when you draft it, and then you just hope
Mm,
it does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't always happen, but
for sure, for sure. And I did a few of them for this week. I actually have some that are interesting, like
yeah. So
Pollard, Keenan
that one's
Allen,
weird. Yeah.
um, with Everett. Like I
Well, you definitely have the first two right pieces with Pollard and Allen,
mhm.
and it's hard to have Pollard, Allen, and CD, right? So
Yes. Yeah, I don't think I even checked the, like, leaderboards. I didn't see anyone with Pollard, Allen, CD. I think those teams might have been thrown out
they and
just due to
rightfully so based on how the draft board went.
yeah. Like, here's another one that has legs. So definitely I like those 2-game slates, but recommendation going in is, like, set your own rankings and
Yeah,
just basically go by points, like, how many points you think each of them are gonna score, and then just know that not tight that QB scoring it fluctuates, especially this year, the elite QBs, they're not scoring 35 points, they're not separating from the crowd, and then we see Dak put up a 24-point week, and he's probably gonna be a force on
yeah.
this
He's looking
slate.
like the number one on the slate for quarterbacks.
Right. So,
Yeah,
just something to keep in mind for those contests. Are you ready to jump into what won last week before we, go into some BRs?
yeah. Let's see it.
So, it was a Tua double stack. with Raheem Mostert. Um, no huge surprise here. We
How many
spoke about
weeks now how many weeks has it been where it's been at least 2 Miami players in a lineup, right? We had Mostert and A-Chain, 1 week when they both went off
yeah,
for a combined total of 6 touchdowns. It's
the
like
Denver game.
it feels like I feel dumb for not going back to the well, but you just assume, like, it's not gonna work out, and it does.
Huh, and this was a slate where Mostert started at 32.
Yeah.
So, was drafting him early and often, that just pierced my soul.
I'm sorry.
I also have my headphones on way too loud.
That was loud for
But
me.
like Mostert at 32 to start to sleep because Achane wasn't technically ruled out, he quickly dropped to, like, 18 to 12 to 10,
A
and
disgusting
then
amount,
we
yeah.
saw him fall to, like, 4 or
He was
5,
he was in, like, the
um,
8th. Yeah, exactly. He was actually, higher than that at one point for BR, right?
and he should have been number 1 overall.
For points, yeah.
So, pretty crazy,
Which is sad.
j
We when we were doing our dog bowls, together, we were fading Mostert because of
well,
how the ADP moved, and we were nervous that it would hurt us because there were teams that have such, like, better combinations of him, but,
mhm,
it seemed like people
Thielen
that were
ended up
drafting
getting
Mostert
there.
at his earlier ADP ended up being the better teams.
It did. Now, there weren't optimal teams that were in the dog bowl last week, and we can get to that real quick, but, we started drafting the dog bowls after the promo came out on Friday. So I didn't draft my first dog bowl until Friday night, and his ADP had already changed to 6.
Yeah.
Like, well, probably missed it. So at this point, let's try to find a way to leverage him. And there's just no way to leverage the Miami running backs right now. It's just you have to draft them. That's the lesson plan there.
Yeah.
Um, had a pretty nice finish last week for the dog bowl. Ended up with the team in 28th, and of course, Nick and I split the dog bowls last week. So when I woke up from my little nap, my little second half nap, and saw 100, not gonna lie, my eyes were a little blurry. I saw money. I could have swore I was like, "That says 10K." And then you
This
click it,
team actually looks great on paper.
you're like, "Bruh, I gotta scroll down to find it." But, yeah, interesting promo last week where the top 1,000 teams, uh, got their money back. Got their $50 back. So I'm curious what they do this week and
Right.
uh, if it's starting to fill too quick on the early side, if they just refrain from doing any promo at all. But we are seeing a $25 price point
Yeah, I
for
like
this
that
week's dog bowl.
much better.
But ETN, that's basically hitting the well again with ETN because he had a big week 5. Hill, Pitts, and Atlanta's using both of their tight ends right now. Um, they are the number 1 team when it comes to just, like, tight end usage in fantasy points, half point PPR. Shouldn't be a huge surprise, though. Johnny Smith has just been, like, a steady target for, Ritter, like, 8 targets, 7 targets, 8 targets, and we mixed him in our dog bowl team,
Yeah.
and it didn't kill the lineup. He ended up getting, like, 10 or 11 points. So,
I think you were
place that.
very against that pick.
What was that?
I think you were very against the pick at the time.
I wanted Schultz, I wanted Henry. Obviously, Henry doesn't get there. And then if those guys were gone, like, at
Schultz
the
ended up
end,
having a better week too.
yeah, he barely, like,
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
I think plays that we faded that ended up being really beneficial was Devontae Adams. The complete fade on Devontae Adams,
Yeah.
that was a roster killer. And then we were drafting Myers on the back end, so just, like, a little way to leverage that.
Mhm.
Um, early first quarter touchdown from uh from Myers. Could have gone nuclear. But quick hellos, Bobert, Ben, Fantasy Football Garage, Josh, Scoot. What's going on, guys? What's going on? We are back. We're gonna be back streaming regularly. So make sure you go down, slap the like, and try to jump in these drafts with us when we get in. But we had some other good, like, fades. Trying to remember the slate. Let's hit the
We were anti AJ Brown.
anti AJ Brown. That ended
Yeah,
up being
we didn't have any AJ
a
Brown, and I
positive
don't think
play.
we had any Hurts either.
No hurts.
Yep.
Now, where I got killed in Battle Royale was basically 3 players: Hawkinson, Fields, and Ridley.
Yeah.
Killed me.
And DJ Moore was
Absolutely killed
a
me.
dud as well.
But
But Ridley was my highest owned player in BR this last week, and
mhm,
we all knew how that went.
brutal. So let's take a quick gander in this draft. Oh, and we get the 6 out of 6 spot.
Couldn't even get in with you.
No, we get the 6 out of 6. Zay Jones didn't
Influencer
practice.
101.
No Zay Jones in practice today. That's the Thursday night game.
That's
I will probably have to do some.
probably not looking good then.
Dude, this room's soft, huh?
Could be.
I have Cup as the clear 101 just because of the wide receiver slate really falls off, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Um,
How do you
so
rank him and Kelsey in DAWG Bowl? Do you still have him as 101, or are you pushing 10N over him?
I'm not afraid to go Kelsey at the 101. I'm probably going to want even exposure to Cup and Kelsey, but I think I would lean Kelsey at the 101,
Because I've seen that happen a lot. The 101 is going Kelsey instead of Cup.
but I'm also okay with getting like a late Gerald Everett, mixing in like Michael Mayer,
There's a lot of good tight ends that come back to you on the 3-4 turn.
mixing in Pat Fry.
Yeah,
So no, Kelsey could break the slate this week, but again, 16, 17 points isn't going to do it when you have Kyle Pitts in the last round getting you 12.
yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
This seems like it could be the game script, right? But like, how many times have we said that about KC so far this year?
I
Where it's
know.
like, this is the one 50-point total, and we can check this one. It's high. It's probably the highest on the slate.
Definitely two high octane offenses going at each other, and you know
Yeah.
Herbert and Mahomes always kind of want to stick it to each other, right?
48.5. It's actually lower than I thought. So they're actually they're starting to
I thought
adjust
they'd be I
to
thought
the
they'd be in the 50s for sure.
yeah. It's still the highest on the slate. Saints Jags on Thursday. This game, which is a low total, I think you can still pull pieces from.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's the highest on the slate by at least 3 points.
Yeah, I think it's hard to ignore yet. Evans, even though he didn't, and that was one of your big players last week too, right?
Yeah, and I'm completely okay because of the process,
Yeah,
right? Like the take doesn't get there. So that was another killer for last week. And I'm
right,
okay with having those down weeks where I go 40% Mike Evans in the last round, who wasn't regularly being drafted until about Friday.
right.
So when it hits, things are good. When it doesn't hit, I'm gonna take an L. And I ended up losing like 140 in Battle Royale, which I'm completely okay with.
If you're drafting enough volume, that's actually a very good number if you're not winning.
Oh yeah, when you're off the right pieces, you lose 85% of your buy-ins. But
Right.
I was drafting Mostert very early, and I was telling the Pounders Plus Patreon members to be drafting Mostert early.
We still don't
If
have a pounder yet going to Miami, so somebody has to do that for us.
interesting. Um,
Definitely like Andrews in this spot. I've been doing Cup Andrews Pacheco, but Barkley
do
is
you,
also
do you
fine
like
here.
Pacheco in this game script?
I do, yeah. I mean, I I do think Chargers have like a sneaky front with Bosa, Khalil Mack, but
Mhm.
I think his usage has been pretty encouraging, and
For
it's
sure.
obviously on a good offense. They're gonna obviously be around the end zone. So My thing with Barkley, and I'm a Giants fan, is that um, it's just not an offense you can trust.
But this is
I've been drafting Barkley. Don't get me wrong. It's just
mm,
if the
let's
offense
mix in
goes
Pacheco.
sideways, Barkley is going to have a less than productive day, in my opinion. And
Well,
Washington's got a good defensive front themselves, right?
mhm. Yeah, they do. They definitely do. I
Yeah,
think one interesting thing about this is you're not picking based off ADP, right? How many cup starts are going to have Barkley? How many cup starts are going to have Bijan? And if you can sort of justify Isaiah Pacheco having the same ceiling or a ceiling near those players,
yeah. Get different.
um, it's an easy way to get different. Now, I would put him probably I do think there is a tier separation in between Pacheco, Barkley, and Bijan, but it is a nice way to leverage the Kelsey touchdowns.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So multi-factor there, where I don't think it's
I think
egregious at
we all
all.
know Barkley's got a higher ceiling. There's no question about it.
Yeah,
Just based on how that offense is set up, because he's the best piece they have. I mean, I'm not worried about Slayton. I'm not worried about Wandell Robinson. Really, it's just a matter of if the Giants' offense can get going and figure things out. I don't know what's going on with Jones. Like, Dable gave a pretty shitty answer when a reporter asked him a speculative question about who is the starting quarterback. Is there
yeah.
going to be quarterback controversy? And he kind of dismissed it in a weird way. He just said, like, yeah, no. He didn't really support Jones as much as you'd like to, but I mean, how can you with
But
how he's performed?
Jones is showing, like, a lack of passion, like, you
Yeah,
could see it on the sidelines. So, we'll see, maybe we get Barkley falling back to us. I'm cool
that'd
with
be
also Josh Allen.
a great way to get Barkley with Pacheco and Andrews. That's a very rare combo.
So we get Josh Allen at 24.
And he said you're not going to have him. Not that easy.
Not Barkley.
But Island, wow, great. This could be a Gabe Davis team.
I think he's
You know,
gone. No?
I think you have to go, but you don't have to take. Maybe you do take him now just to secure it in case somebody snipes you. But if you really feel like you need Evans or another piece, then you take that player because you go with what you think is right.
Yeah, let's push Gabe
Yeah, because
because I'm
I don't like
also
going double running back at this point with what's left. So you're definitely going to
I
go for your
agree.
receivers.
Unless you have Baltimore pieces, which we do, we could have a little mini stack with Gibbs and Mark Andrews. We'll see what comes back to us.
Mm.
But I agree. I largely agree. I do think it will be a 2 RB winning slate.
Just
Like
depends. I
Aaron
mean,
Jones and Barkley.
if,
I like
if
Josh
Jones
Jacobs this
if
week.
Jones is expected to play, I think he's kind of like the last guy on the board because of his ADP at the
Mm,
moment that I really like to pair with other running backs. But
mhm. I
I think
agree.
all the other receivers have higher ceilings than some of these running backs. I mean, Taylor splitting with Zach Moss doesn't seem great. They're playing Cleveland, who is like dominant right now against the run.
Yeah.
Gibbs is still a question mark. I've seen Craig Reynolds being drafted in here and there. Um,
Gotta mix them in, you just don't know.
but
Dude, there's
we
so
were
many
saying talking about this. Gibbs playing Baltimore is not even an easy matchup to begin with. So even if he was healthy, it's like it's not the sexiest matchup to
mhm.
begin with.
But I do like this. Like, I do like mixing him in with my Baltimore stacks. Like, I think
Yeah,
that makes a ton of sense.
yeah,
Because you're betting on game script, right? And
right.
it's not gonna be unique, but it still concentrates your bet to have to get less
It's
things
definitely
right.
optimal to do it that way.
Frank, 2 cool rad guys, welcome to the live stream. We're back. Yes, this is a fun one. I do like
I
Mike
don't see
Evans
why
again
anybody
this
would
week.
want Davis without Allen. So I think he should come back to you. Like he
Mhm.
doesn't feel good to me unless you're going Allen.
I completely agree, and I'm also okay with just getting, like, naked.
Right. Well, rushing upside's always there.
You have to do the awkward pause after you say it too. I'm okay with going, just being naked, so But Josh Allen, like, we've seen him spread the ball. Now, he hasn't in the last 2 games. No, 28's good. We'll give him that. Jacksonville 28.7 is good. It's because of the rushing tutty. I think Josh Allen's probably been performing the best of the 3 elite QBs. I know Mahomes has
But
been
is he going to be
a
running
bust.
as much this next game with this injury he kind of picked up?
Right. Yeah, not heavily correlated, but we do have pieces that leverage games, which is nice. I think we spoke about this earlier too. We like Seattle pieces this week. I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
opposed
fire up all the Seattle players against Arizona.
to a Marquise Brown bring back against Seattle. So there's some scroll down pieces, and I'm surprised. Like, I thought we were gonna get that Mike Evans discount again this week. He starts off on this slate going earlier than last week. Drafters don't make any sense, but here I am donking my $5 towards Mike Evans.
I'll tell you who not to draft from the Cardinals. Imari, running back.
Dude,
I don't
that
know if
guy,
you've heard of him.
the amount
But
of
he's the
hype
biggest trap
on
of all
Twitter.
time.
If you guys want to jump in the DAWG Bowl with us, we're waiting on 5 people. We'll continue to draft BRs until that fills.
Let me see if I can get in time.
Just disgusting. Now, the Twitter hype around Amari is kind of what made me mix him in, I think, at like 3%, just like probably a handful of teams, 4 or 5 teams. Some of those were DAWG Bowl shops.
Outcomes, that's for sure. But it's the
I did
Arizona
mention,
maybe we just were overthinking it. They're just not a
yeah.
very good football team right now.
And Chuba actually, he wasn't optimal last week because he got 15, but he was getting close to not being optimal, but to be a piece in a DAWG Bowl team, which is a 12-person draft.
Right.
A piece that wouldn't kill you.
Right. For where you're getting him.
Exactly. So like last round picks, and not even last round, but the round before, like Myers, he ends up on a top 3 DAWG Bowl team.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt you because you were like probably the biggest Jacoby stand out there last week.
Check your private real quick.
Let me adjust.
I had to be the stand last week. And he wasn't optimal, sort of like Chuba, but they were pieces that were flexible. Let's do I'm just gonna do Cup again. Just gonna go Cup again. This wide receiver slate is just, you can find pieces, but how often are they gonna hit? Like, I'm gonna be mixing in Tyler Lockett, but he's gonna miss his fair amount of games.
Are you
Mixing
going
Marquise
back
Brown.
to Myers this week, or are you kind of a little concerned with Jimmy and Hoyer being the starting quarterback?
Yeah, I think Jimmy will probably end up playing, but
Okay.
yeah, no, I'm mixing in Devontae
Because
Adams
the
much more
matchup
this week.
for them is incredible, right?
Yeah, and when you think about the Patriots and how they were gonna attack that game, they were gonna get rid of the team's number 1. I mean, we see it. We've been seeing it for 20 years where they game plan around taking away the opposing team's number 1 weapon. It's exactly what happened. Like, there should be no surprise.
Right.
So, and then you had the Myers.
Well, I meant like this week. Are
revenge
you going
game.
back to Myers against Chicago?
You can mix him in 100%. You can mix him in as a last piece. Yeah, I don't see why not.
If
Now
Hoyer is the
this,
quarterback, do you still like him?
not as much. No,
Okay.
not
Is he
as
worth
much.
drafting at that point, or are you just off him?
No, not really. This game's just, it's already thin enough at like a 38.5 point total. Where
Yeah.
is it? 37.5 point total.
Right.
You're trying to, I feel like threading the needle a little too much. I think Josh Jacobs is the piece I still want in that game.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, especially with this quarterback situation because I don't like Hoyer as much, and I think they're gonna have to lean on Jacobs a little
Hmm.
bit, which is fine because Chicago's not really great at stopping the run. So if they want to run the ball all game, that's great.
Hmm. This is where I would go Devontae Adams.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hard to take
Interesting.
Josh Allen
Maybe.
when you just got him the round
No,
earlier.
I know.
You
I
know,
know. I think trying to get Lamar in the way back around is smart here with I was gonna say with two QBs in between, but just all right.
yeah,
Yeah.
no
This
shot.
this guy's not a risk taker, clearly. Even if I am that team, I'm probably pushing him till because there's two QBs in front.
Yeah, maybe he
Gotta
just
get your
likes
guys. You
Zay
gotta get your
Flowers a lot.
guys.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, he was probably in our last draft, and it's something that I'm just completely missing from a micro level.
But I'm getting one of these two QBs. I feel good about this.
You must. You can push it
I
too
don't
another
really
round.
even have a preference on these two guys, so I'm
Mhm,
probably gonna go receiver. Somebody I've just been clicking a lot on is Watson.
mhm.
Just because we know he's like a ceiling play, has a ton of upside. Even last game, he wasn't even that horrible, but he showed that
No,
he can bring in the deep balls, and if he can do that twice, then
that's it.
feels like a piece he needs.
100%. Denver giving up a lot of big plays. Leverage off of the Aaron Jones team, so you get ahead of 1/6 of drafters there.
Yeah,
And I don't think it's crazy. And I saw you do it on Dog Bowl team to bring in both of those pieces.
yeah, I think they could easily both get there with how bad Denver's been.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think it's even crazy to think that a Jones, Watson, Musgrave team could get there too
Ooh, Luis
if they
coming
put up
in.
enough points.
Luis coming in with a question. Would you trade Lamb for Jacobs? And honestly, that's going to be a
In a
matter of
redraft,
how how bad do you need running backs?
yeah, same.
That's that's the main question for me. Um,
I think if you need a running back, you do it, and
oh
if you have wide receiver depth to fill in that gap for CD Lamb. But
yeah, I agree with
I
that.
mean, if you're good in both departments, I would probably side with CD Lamb.
Let's mix it up.
Nice.
All right, on the clock for the dog bowl here, and these are our choices. Is it Barkley and then Mark Andrews, or Andrews then Barkley if he comes back?
I go Andrews first and get the tight
Mhm,
end position first, especially in these dog balls where it's 12 tight ends. I really feel more comfortable with having Andrews or Kelsey.
mhm. Now, how about Buffalo versus New England? He usually destroys us, and we're down two major pieces on our defense.
I'm sorry, what was
Sh-
that?
How about Josh Allen here?
Yeah, Josh Allen's fine. I'm going elite. I mean, it's just we're gonna get boxed out of running back by the time it comes back to us. Is the only
Mhm. I
concern.
think we can get Gibbs for a little mini stack.
Yeah, if you don't get him though,
It's
you're in a world of hurt.
Let's see. I'm okay with going Rashawn Johnson too as a
Okay,
sleeper.
yeah, that seems fair.
But are you typically just going Aaron Jones here at 14?
Aaron Jones or Pacheco would be my two. I think Aaron Jones has higher upside than Pacheco if he's healthy though.
Yeah, same. And I'm
For a
completely
contest like
okay with
this, I think he's like the Moser pick this week.
and I want my Aaron Jones bags pretty much packed.
Yeah. I think you're
in
gonna.
front of Bijan
I
too.
think at 14 too, even though it seems early now because his ADP is 21, within a few days when he's expected to play, it's gonna be in the top 10 because it's
Yeah,
Denver.
yeah. We saw this
So you're
happen with Mostert,
yeah,
like, last week, where it went from 32 to 5. So,
exactly.
smart, sharp drafters are already pulling him down. Bijan's losing goal line work, like Algier again last week, taking goal line work away. But I think, my thought process behind going, excuse me, Josh Allen over Lamar here is just less drafters are gonna do it. When they pull in Mark Andrews, they're
Yeah, they're looking to
most of the
stack him.
time, they're
Yeah,
going Lamar. So going Josh Allen is, gets you very different.
yeah, I agree with that. And
We got one
they could
last
Josh
play.
Allen could outscore Lamar as well.
Mhm.
Wow, bringing in Russell Wilson, got to do it.
Gotta do what he says. I'm also okay with going Staffy here with Cooper Kupp going
Yeah,
number 1
I
overall.
would probably lean Staffy,
I
but
want Love. Like,
but
I would like to be on the Love side of this with C. Watt.
uh huh.
Um, you can have a Cortland Sutton in there. It's gonna happen this week. Not gonna force it, though. Crash Rich being donated. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs stack.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
Yeah,
must be nice. It
that's
must be
nice.
nice. Uh, damn.
Who are some of the guys that you like this week? Sleepers like towards the end.
For Dog Bowl,
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Rashawn Johnson's one of those guys. Um, he's definitely one of those guys.
Yeah,
He's it's because we haven't seen it yet, where there's the potential. You have Zach Evans, who's
I
likely to
think
be
the
named
guy
the
right above
starter.
him also goes too late. I think Javante
Javante.
Williams needs a little bit more respect. I mean, his snap count share was pretty bad last week. I think it was like around 38%,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
um, I think it's going to go up this week.
And we saw Foreman last week. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Javante,
no,
I agree.
right.
Against Green Bay, tough secondary. You could see him like he's gonna get his fair amount of touches. Um, I don't know if it'll be as much as Rashawn. Like this game could just literally be like mostly on the ground for Chicago. We see like how many touches Donta Foreman get? He got 15 touches last week.
I still think with the Bears though, they're going to be in a committee and they're going to use Roshan and Foreman this week. Roshan should get goal line work over him, and then Foreman is going to get, I think, should get some more receiving work. But carries wise, I think it will be pretty split.
Hmm.
Or if they ride the hot hand, like they said
Yeah.
they would do in the beginning of the season, but Roshan then needs to like run hot.
See the way I look at that situation is like they made Foreman game day inactive with Rashawn and Khalil Herbert. So
Mhm.
I'm just gonna lean heavily on Rashawn. Probably
So this is pretty ugly right now.
yeah, for wide receivers, I probably scroll down to like Godwin, Drake London area.
You don't like Rice or Jacoby?
I don't like Rice.
Okay.
Jacoby, you could sell me on. Jacoby could sell me on just because the amount of targets this guy pulls in, and he's becoming a red zone favorite for Jimmy.
Yeah. I like Godwin
Rice
too this week, but quarterbacks are going to be pretty much like Howell, Joshua Dobbs if you don't take a quarterback coming up next. So if you
okay.
wanted Staffy, Love, or Gino, those are probably the three. And then after that,
Dobbs
it's pretty much like a cliff drop.
Dobbs goes basically undrafted, which is insane. Oh, no, he's right here. Okay, we should be able to get him back, though. And we still have Aaron Jones.
Well, no, I was saying, yeah, Dobbs is a good pick for this team. I meant Joshua on the Cardinals, like for quarterbacks. Like I was trying to
Yeah.
say, like
Oh,
which
I see.
quarterbacks
I see.
are going to be pretty much available for us if
Yeah,
we don't
it's
get
gonna be
quarterback
bad.
here.
It's
It's
gonna be bad.
Howell, Jones, Ritter. Wilson's a fun
Mhm.
one if you want to punt quarterback here because you definitely can get Sutton or Judy.
Right.
Um,
Right, and
as
then
just
you get to
because
bring back with
they're
Aaron
basically
Jones.
going like undrafted almost both of those receivers.
And
So
we
he's the
have
only one I like to wait on.
in this spot, we could go London too, if we're just gonna plan on going Ritter.
Hmm.
Again, keep an eye on where the Pitts team is, and it doesn't look like Pitts has been drafted yet, but, like, if Pitts goes to one of these teams, they could easily go Ritter on the way back around with their second pick. See this team with the QB already, like, you're basically guaranteed to get Ritter to come back to you.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know. I think Love is the better pick though, just with how that game could go.
Mhm. No, definitely. And Aaron Jones is a pass catching running back, so it's
Yeah.
not like there's too much negative correlation there.
Hmm.
Fancy Football Garage. Could Jameer Gibbs finally show up this week? Shit, are they going to allow him to show up? Are they going to give him 14 carries? Like, I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure. You could see like a fair amount of Craig Reynolds rushing for 1.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, it's so hard to say. You'd like to think this has got to be his week, but again, he's playing Baltimore. It's tough. Hopefully, they figure out how to use his speed, get him out of the backfield.
Mhm. Should be able to get Dobbs on the way back around. And if we don't, we can do the bring back piece in Sutton
Love that. Or Judy.
or Judy, and then we could go Jaden Reed, like, and just game stack.
I think you're getting too cute with Reed.
Really?
Yeah, I think Reed's kind of out of the question. At least for me, like I'd rather like a Michael Will.
Now that C-Watt's
Yeah,
back, like, I
yeah.
actually I agree. I
I
agree.
think you're better off getting guys like Michael Wilson. I don't know.
Nick just
Josh
called him
Downs is in play maybe this week because Pierce is dealing with a shoulder injury. But
interesting.
there's some pieces I like better.
And Minshew throwing the ball how many times? 55 passing
Wow,
attempts
I think only
for
got 12
for
points.
12 fantasy points.
Good lord,
That's because of the
3 picks.
turnovers,
Good
but he's
God.
not afraid to chuck it.
Yeah, so, which is great for receivers. Actually, Josh Down probably had like over 10 points last week.
Right, right. Oh my god.
Deontay
Uh,
coming back's a little surprising.
3 people can go wide receiver here.
Yeah.
I would still rather Dobbs over
Hmm.
Deontay Johnson with this current team,
Hmm.
but if we didn't have Packers, uh, I'm risking it with Deontay Johnson coming back 100%.
Yeah, I think you have to. He's got
He's
the
the
physique.
highest upside play.
Yeah.
Ooh, Judy just gets snipped. He must not have watched last game. Did you see, like, the Stephen A. Smith comments to Judy?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
calling him a
It's
jag
bad.
before the game?
Yeah.
"You're a jag." And then he goes out and does nothing. Like,
Judy respected it though. I think he took it in. You know,
ah,
Deontay. I think you grabbed
you
Deontay, man.
think you think we can push
Yeah, I think because you
Dobbs?
have two receivers here that are good game stack scripts. So I think Deontay's the kind of the wild card piece of this roster. Don't go too much into the game where you have just Denver and Green Bay pieces.
We might be let's see.
I think you have a choice between
Let's
these two guys because he has one receiver. So that's kind of
mhm,
like my thinking. And I
mhm.
think they're both very I think they're both similar where they're gonna score around the same anyway, in my opinion.
Mm.
Like 15, 18 at most.
See here, I'm probably locking in Dobbs more often than Deontay Johnson because then you get the pick of Sutton and Deontay Johnson, whereas Romeo Dobbs is the most important pick for like
But what would the
this
guy next to you
roster.
do? Like, what is this? Is this guy not taking Deontay if he's
Ooh,
available? He's the
ooh,
first guy on the board.
ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out. It worked out for sure. But I think it kills our roster if he goes Dobbs.
Really?
If we have unstacked, besides just Aaron Jones, unstacked Jordan Love, if he doesn't get in on the like a rushing tutty, if he doesn't pass one to Aaron Jones, and he
Yeah.
still becomes like a piece that's at least close to being optimal within
Mhm.
5 to 8 points, where does he get those points?
Watson?
Right, that's not good for this team.
Yeah, now for
So,
this,
like
now that you have
so,
Dobbs,
like
but if you didn't have Dobbs and then you went Sutton, Love could still get there, I would think, with Jones and Watson.
yeah,
So
it would have to be split, yeah,
that's kind of where I was going with that.
100%. No, this team came out nice. Honestly, it doesn't look too much like a dog bowl team, and
No.
that's good. Let's see what Crash Rich ended up with. Diggs, Josh Allen, gift, start. Lockett, Jonathan Taylor, Rasheed Rice, and Jonnu Smith. Going back to the well with Jonnu.
Taylor's gonna be the only wild card with that team just because of Cleveland and him mixing it with Zach Moss still, but
Ooh,
I just don't
and
see I don't think Taylor's getting 20 points this week, but
$25 donation by Big Shrimpy. Going double
oh,
tight end.
double tight end with Mayer. Yikes.
And I think it's
Brutal.
weird, but Battle Royale, I think you actually can go double tight end this week. If there was ever going to be a week, it is a Kelsey, Mark Andrews week where Andrews is going at 14. You could add Sam Laporte in there, but there's a huge drop off after these tight ends. And I'm just
Um,
a spoon.
Baltimore is also the best defense against tight ends in fantasy so far.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. But there's no David Montgomery. Like, you're expecting that Jared Goff is going to have to throw the ball in this game.
Yep.
That's so I do think you can give a slight tick to
Hmm.
the passing weapons in Detroit this game. And there's such a huge fall off. Like, after Laporte, it goes Darren Waller with Tyrod Taylor as your QB. Like,
Well, for now, Jones is still
for
questionable,
now. Yeah, and
but
supposedly it looks good.
it doesn't really
Supposedly it
matter
looks good.
who's our quarterback. Waller still hasn't been able to do what he's supposed to do because our quarterbacks aren't using him correctly.
Mhm. So this is the third battle royale we've done,
So, by the way,
and
Baltimore hasn't given up more than 10 fantasy points to a tight end this season.
all right, let's pull up,
I will say,
who have they played?
I will say most of these teams do not have elite tight ends. Uh, so,
The Burrow Rounds, the Colts, Steelers, the
and I'm pretty sure
Titans.
the Steelers didn't have the Muth that game. I'm pretty sure he was
Yes.
out.
So not really looking too much into that at this point.
Yeah. So basically, they played Dalton Schultz, Irv
Mm,
Smith.
mm.
The tight end for the Colts at the time was
Herb Smith.
probably Grayson,
Sounds right.
right?
Yep.
Cleveland's Njoku. Was that the week he burnt his face off?
Yeah, but he had an okay week. He ended
Yeah,
up with like
that's the most
7.5
points they've let up.
points. Yeah. Yeah. I like this. Now, Keenan Allen for me is this week's number 4. Like, clear cut, shouldn't be going later than 4.
Hmm.
Over Diggs. If you want to put him ahead of Eckler, I think you can, just because of how deep it is at running back on this slate and how not deep it is. Like, look how like it gets very ugly, and that's why it 1 overall. Now, I got the 1 overall 3 times in a row today somehow because I'm a spoon. Uh, I did mix it up and go Kelsey here, and you can already see we're probably going to get punished at wide receiver, and I'm likely going to have to double slap. RBs.
Well, maybe do your strategy. Do the bully tight end and
I
box
have
this run
one
down.
team. I have one team. It's enough.
Okay.
One bonus tight end team a week is enough when I think it
Adams
could
feels
work.
good then.
Yeah, definitely. Which means Josh Jacobs would be out of play.
You don't think they both can get there?
Uh, uh,
Is it
no,
not? I mean,
no.
the thing
There's
is,
just not enough
just
points in
hear
that
me out.
game.
Like, if A Chain and Mostert can get there in a single week, why can't Jacobs and Adams?
There's just not
You know?
enough points in that game for me to want to try it um, on a regular basis, right? Like continually drafting that way, I think is minus EV in the long run,
Yeah.
where you're
No,
trying to
that's
thread
very.
this
I
needle
would agree with you.
of 37.5 point game total.
Yeah. You would
I
need
do
you need 2 touchdowns from Jacobs, 2 touchdowns from Adams, something along those
right.
lines.
They're a bet against one another. So
Yeah.
in a game where there's minimal scoring, I don't know.
I just think Chicago is gonna have some problems this week.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Maybe this is the Rashawn Johnson team though. The Rashawn Johnson bring back.
Has he been drafted?
Yeah,
He has
he's
an
been
ADP?
drafted.
I wasn't sure in BR because the running back pool is a little deeper.
Mhm.
I mean, you have to scroll way the F down to find him.
Yeah.
I'm
And I
surprised a
think
lot of guys have ADPs.
I think I'm the only one drafting Sutton right now. It's it's probably not the best game, right? Green Bay's got a pretty good secondary. But if you're betting on that game script, and I have a lot of Green Bay pieces, I think I should be mixing in some Denver pieces, even if they're not like sexy, right? There's
Yeah.
one team that can take Aaron Jones in front of us. Let's see what Buddha wants to do.
What are you thinking, Zay Flowers as well?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I think going Lamar here with Kelsey's different too. Like most teams that bring in Lamar, they're gonna have Mark Andrews. Um,
Well, Mahomes and Kelsey's kind of not like hard to get. I have a couple of them, but
mhm,
there's also a lot of Kelsey teams that don't get Mahomes, so they're
yeah.
gonna have like a combination of a lot of quarterbacks.
Let's go.
Nice.
Wow. The fact that you can still get Aaron Jones at 24
Yep.
on a Tuesday. This is why you
Keep
draft early in the
keep
slate.
keep bringing them in as much as you can.
It's going to take a turn, right? And when it does, let's say he goes to pick 12, I probably won't be mixing him in as much.
Mhm.
If he goes top 10 or under, I'm basically at a full fade at that point, and I'm just riding off my percents to end the week. And knowing that I got my early exposure with
Right.
different teams, with different pairings. This way, if he does bust, you're not overpaying for that busted player on top of having an ADP advantage over the late drafters.
Now, if for whatever reason somehow Jones has a setback and he's not able to play, are we subbing him for James Robinson?
uh, did they officially add him today?
Probably not. Not yet.
Dude, this is a guy that got
He's
released
on.
from
You can
how
draft
many
him, but
teams?
he doesn't have a team. I would imagine.
Wrong, Robinson. Yeah, he's not even in the player pool.
Wow. Okay.
He got dropped from New England. Did he get signed on
He
the
went to the
Giants
Giants.
for for 45 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. Roughly. Played some preseason games. Actually, didn't look terrible, but
Yeah.
just yeah, didn't make it with us. And it's weird that they're bringing him in when they have AJ Dillon on the team already. It's like I don't really fully understand it.
Mhm.
Can you make sense of it? Why would they do that when you have Jones and Dillon already? There's got to be some kind of lack of
Maybe they
confidence
wanted
somewhere.
maybe they weren't happy with when Aaron Jones is out and you just have basically Dylan as your ball carrier.
Did pretty well.
He
20
did
carries, 76 yards and a touchdown. It's
when
pretty
they
good.
gave him the opportunity for that drive. He completed the drive with the tutty. They're not using him though. Like this is
Yeah,
a running back that can catch the ball.
right.
Like we saw 2 years under Rodgers where he had 30 plus catches.
And I think the next running back behind Dylan's Patrick Taylor. And I thought they liked him.
This might be crazy going Rashawn Johnson over Tyler Lockett, but I'm gonna have a ton of Tyler Lockett on this slate
Uh-huh.
and a little mini stack with Devontae Adams. I've done crazier things.
Well, if Jones gets ruled out, now you could swap for Tyler Lockett.
Damn it. I also don't love swapping for the players that are like the absolute next best available at the end of a draft, right? Because what
Everybody does it.
percent
Well, not everybody does it. It's
it's
probably going to happen
automatic.
to everybody because it's automatic.
So if that means just scrolling down to Marquise Brown as my swap, where he's drafted what percent of the time? 10%,
Yeah.
20%. Um,
But to your point, he'll be swapped even less because nobody is going to go in and reset their. A lot of people don't reset their rankings to
right,
get a swap that they'd
right.
rather have.
And I can fat fingered it. Did they let you set up the swaps right now?
Yeah. Oh, you mean for rankings?
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
So right
Yeah.
here, you go to completed and you can set your swap rankings just like this. Now, I don't do it early in the week. This is something I do on Sunday morning because it bothers the F out of me. It changes your rankings. So like if you set Marquise Brown as your swap, right? He's going to
Mhm.
be at the top of your draft the whole week
Yeah.
at number 1. I hate unless you go through and you actually create a list. And I don't typically do that. I just go with my top.
I think it's good if you really go into it and you just click, click, click as you approve things. Like, okay, I'd like Cup number one, Kelsey two,
So
etc.
you go
And
through the
then
whole thing.
but when you see a player that you want to fade, you just don't add them. So if
Mhm,
Jonathan Taylor is a fade to you, you skip him and then you click the next guy on the list that you would want in your portfolio, and then you end up
mhm.
with a list that way.
Just a little less chalky, I think. Just skipping over Kenneth Walker and going to Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
Same tier running
I've done a
back.
ton of St. Brown and Walker.
Yeah. And I don't hate it, and I'm gonna have some of it, but just to show the crowd that if you have someone that's in the same tier, you're not giving up, a crazy amount of points.
Yeah,
It'll be less owned and it's highly worth it.
yeah, competing against less lineups.
Eckler
And we all know
Mahomes is fun.
Jacobs could outscore Walker.
Yeah, on any week, these running backs could outscore each other.
Mhm.
I like the Eckler Mahomes KC versus Chargers start.
That's a good one. That's fun.
Keenan Allen at 5 again. Hmm. Marky Mark. It's man,
See, the thing about doing earlier drafts, it's good to get players like Aaron Jones, but it's also just like boring after a while because nobody wants to step out of the ADP
mhm,
lanes, and you kind of just get the same players coming to you. Like when you start drafting towards the end of these contests, like when they're
yeah,
about to close, it's like a
yeah.
free for all. Like the board just like explodes, and
Doesn't
people are
matter.
taking Tyler Lockett in round two all of a sudden.
That's where my favorite time to draft is contest open, getting the ADP advantage, and then contest close, like that last 5% where people don't give a fuck
Yeah,
what their team looks like, and then
it's
you're
like
getting
that.
crazy.
It's like that
Yeah.
scene where it's in Talladega Nights, right, with the kids, and they're like anarchy, and everybody's going crazy.
Yes, yes.
No one
The
cares.
memes, the memes. I'm gonna mix in do we mix in Herbert here now that so it's like getting Herbert at no, it's like getting Jacobs at
It's
18.
definitely
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
Pacheco and Jones though for this squad.
Yeah. Going Jones. This is probably gonna be a Palmer team.
Okay, yeah, I like that. His usage was great against the Cowboys.
Dude. Yeah,
Phenomenal.
100%. He obviously doesn't get there optimally, but
Yeah, his
that's
stat line
fine.
doesn't even look like it, but from watching the game, like very encouraging, right?
For sure. Parker, welcome to the live stream. Are you doing this trade? Ramondre and James Cook for Derrick Henry. Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
Yep.
Matt, welcome to the live stream. Would y'all trade Kamara in a 2024 second and third for Mostert and Brian Robinson contending at 4-2 and have little running back depth? Think Mostert could win me on my way to the playoffs. You know what? I'm probably holding off 1 week. I want to see what the usage is like with Jeff Wilson Jr.
Hmm.
With Achan out, they're not just going to run Mostert out there 25 plus times a game. But
We also don't know
yeah,
what's going to happen when A Chain comes back. He's not out for the whole year.
mhm,
He's just missing, wasn't it 4 games?
yeah, yeah.
So
I also don't like giving up Kamara here. I think
especially with how
Kamara's
his usage has been so encouraging since
right,
he's been back.
right. Especially if it's a full point PPR league. If it's half point, I don't know. Just Washington hasn't been using their running backs too effectively, in my opinion. All right.
Fire up Palmer for sure. If you wanted to get different with wide receiver, I would say you can go with Gerald Everett as your tight end instead, and then that's
Hmm.
your piece.
I'm
But
cool with that.
if you'd rather a different receiver like Pickens or Terry McLaurin or something, then that's where I would say go with Everett. You have a running back.
Yeah, I just saw that. Oh my God. The
Well, we're going.
respond.
We're go. We're
The
going.
respond. We're going
We're going
onslaught
Las
Las
Vegas.
Vegas.
He wouldn't do it with Adams, but he'll do it with Myers.
Fuck. Nah, I think we have to go Everett here.
Sorry, I messed this bag up for you.
Is
It's Everett, yeah. But my point was go receiver with Everett as your piece for this game, or go Palmer with a tight end that you prefer.
yeah, that last second, like I liked what you said and I was doing it, and then I couldn't find a piece that I actually loved. I probably would have went Marquise Brown if
Marquise Brown was probably the play. I like him a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. Against Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle's given up like the most fantasy points to receivers
Mhm.
so far.
That was hysterical. That was hysterical. So thin. We already talked about this stream. That's probably a $5 dono. Could still cash, but
You never know, man. You never know. Weirder lineups have won.
oh
Would you
man,
not agree?
the double Vegas. Yeah, that's
Dude,
start
when when
Mitchell or
when two running
Mason.
backs are on the same team and they're the most optimal way to play,
Mhm.
anything in my opinion can happen after something like that. Dude,
This one
running backs
scares me.
hardly can be on the field at the same time. At least receivers. I mean, a
I know,
receiver
I
and a
know.
running back can be on the field at the same time at least.
But touchdown, like when you think points, half point PPR, to get optimal in battle royale, you're looking for around 16 plus points for your flex on any given week. That's like the minimum.
Yeah,
Um, at that point, you need 20 plus from your average running back, 20 plus from your wide receivers. And now you
yeah.
look at a game that's 37 and a half points. We have two pieces. I don't love it. It doesn't mean it can't get there. It's
You
happened in the
just need
past, it'll happen
Myers to
again.
go off in the first half of the game. He gets 2 touchdowns, big stat line, and then Raiders are up
And then they
and they just
run the
run
ball.
the rock the whole rest of the game. And it's
That's
Josh Jacobs time,
sort of the way I see that game script going.
you know?
Um, Not necessarily with Myers, but I do see them using Jacobs heavily in this game. Like I think you can expect 20 plus touches
Yeah,
pretty
same.
easily. And against Chicago, I mean, we're talking what? You're talking 15 plus points, I would think.
Easily. Should, at least.
Give us Eckler 5 though. Actually, I'm cool with both of these picks. I have very minimal Keenan Allen this week.
Dude, Eckler is just, like, projected, like, to the moon this week. I mean, he's out projecting everybody on this slate, and it's not even close, outside
Yeah.
quarterbacks. I mean, they're giving him
Yeah.
17 points.
Well, they're gonna have to use him if they want to be in that game.
Amon-Ra and Allen, that's Chef's
That's a
kiss.
fun one. That's a fun
Yeah,
one.
beautiful.
Again, no Demont to just pound the ball into the end zone, so they're gonna actually have to use their pass catching weapons if they're gonna
Yep.
score touchdowns this week. So we can easily go like this couldn't be a Goff team. This can be a Herbert team. And going back real quick to your thought on bringing in Rice,
Hmm.
is a bet on Rice a bet on Mahomes?
Um,
Like, do you feel
Not
like you can get
necessarily with how
you can,
things have gone for that offense. I
but
think
with
Mahomes throws the ball around so much, but Rice
which is a
could be the
negative?
no. I mean, he throws the ball around a lot to the point where, like, I think Rice could be like the main contributor one game, and then Mahomes kind of has kind of like an average game at best, even with a
Well,
big Rice
that's what he's
stat
been
line.
doing, but unfortunately,
Yeah,
he's been bringing average around to
I know.
everybody.
But it's been Kelsey who's the main benefactor of it, as opposed to his receivers.
Give
And
us
now
Herbert
with
here.
Watson's out. You just have Sky
Mhm,
Moore, Tony, and MVS. I just think Rice is like in a good spot outside of Kelsey for your offense.
mhm.
With how they've used him, I feel more encouraged to click Rice than any of the other Kansas City options
Oh,
for
that I
receivers.
100% agree with. I'm just hesitant to bring in fuck. We're gonna get back to back.
So, like, what if Rice ends up having 17 plus points and Kelsey? I mean, I don't see a world where Kelsey's not involved, but
Mhm. I think if Rice has 17 plus points, you're gonna see a big game from
Mahomes,
Mahomes,
because you think Kelsey will have a big game, Rice will have a big game,
right?
and
And then he spreads the ball.
yeah,
Um, it probably looks like this for me, but he already has a running back, so I'm cool with going DK here.
or Pacheco and Jones. You could have won
Could go Pacheco and Jones, little
because
bring
you had
back
the Allen
action.
game.
This stole my heart here. Thought we're getting Herbert at 17, but then I saw the Eckler. It's like, probably not.
It's nice though. You still have Goff available.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feels like a nice,
Just
thing
yeah,
to fall back on.
Or Gino.
Yeah, I like Goff a little bit better than Gino.
Mhm. I'm probably indifferent this week. Like Gino hasn't been great,
I know that's what
but
I'm a
but
little nervous
against
about.
Arizona, I think this is the week where you can see that 20-point plus week from Gino. If there was going to be one, um,
Mhm.
like this is a pretty damn good week for it, where you can throw multiple touchdowns. Now, last year we saw multiple touchdown games from Gino. I think there was a 5-game stretch where he was throwing for 2+ tutties
Yeah.
every single game. And guys, I appreciate you coming out. If you haven't already and you're enjoying the live stream, go smash the like. If you're new to the pound, hit the sub button. Follow Nick on the Twitter machine at NF42. He's grinding these battle royales probably more than anyone that I know personally.
Nah, there's other people out there. It's not just
How,
me. I'm not the only sicko, please.
how many do you have so far, though? How many? You said you like 25
I have
plus on
40
battle royale.
VRs at the moment and then 10 dog bowls.
That's respectable numbers right there. Those are respectable numbers. Laporta goes super late here. He doubles up, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not a huge fan of it.
it's interesting.
It's definitely interesting. You could say that. I just don't. Laporta's ceiling is not high enough to go
You
two tight
need
ends.
you need what? You need probably, like we said, a flex. You need 16 minimum, 16, 17
Yeah,
points
I
minimum.
think he needs two touchdowns to be good in that
Mhm.
position.
I agree.
It's like hard to ask for.
I agree. He's probably going Staffy, right? I would think.
You have two options, so if you'd like a tight end here, yeah, I'd go tight end first.
Already have a Green Bay piece, but I do like Musgrave this week. Gonna go Pitts. I can't really argue the usage as of late with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
Back-to-back games with either 50 plus or a touchdown. He goes Geno. Cool with that.
Well, he has Walker, but
Yeah, it's like negative. That's
Walker is
negative
not
correlation in my
really
opinion.
not really like a huge pass catcher on that team.
Yeah,
He's getting like 15 carries a game.
right. So that turns into like you're betting against your other pick,
Yeah,
basically.
unless you just really like he maybe thinks that this Seattle Arizona game's an onslaught and Walker
Mhm.
is going to score a ton of points and Gino's going to throw for a ton of yards and some touchdowns as well.
Mm.
That could happen.
Who are your favorite picks in each round?
Each round,
Round one.
I like
Who
being in
feels
like the
the
one or
best?
two spot for sure, like getting Cup or Kelsey.
Okay.
Um, if St. Brown's falling to me in the second round, that would be my favorite pick for
Okay.
sure. Traditionally, he's
And he
not
does.
though.
He goes at 7, usually like 6, 7.
Got
6,
it.
7.
Yeah, but if you're not on that turn, St. Brown's would be my favorite pick,
Mhm,
regardless where I'm at. I like want him to come back to me, but yeah,
mhm.
Jacobs for sure would be my next one.
I agree with that.
Probably Jones in the third if you know you're in a sharp room. Fourth, Jones if
Copy.
you're not in a smart room and you think you can push him, then it's Aaron Jones again. Right?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. 100%. You saw us draft Aaron Jones
Yeah.
tonight in the 3rd
I
once.
guess if you're before Jones, I like trying to get quarterback in the third round.
I think the reason we don't go Jones here, obviously, is because he has 2 running backs,
Yeah.
so we can push him 4th. Also, Pacheco's on the board too, but sometimes you see, uh, Pacheco come off here, and
Yeah.
now, like, if this team doesn't have 2 running backs, if this team doesn't have 2 running backs, you're
My
going Jones earlier.
favorite
I agree.
fourth to fifth round pick would be probably Watson at the moment with Green Bay. Um,
I agree with that.
and then after that, I mean, look, everybody's on the table. Like Tyler Lockett, Evans,
Marquise Brown,
Marquise Brown.
Gabe
I think there's a
Davis, you could add
lot
in
of
there,
players that
Myers.
can get there, obviously, in the fifth round. I mean, Gabe Davis, if he has a big game, his leverage against Diggs.
Yeah, for
Drake
sure.
London has been on fire.
Palmer's definitely in the
Palmer's in
question.
play.
That's a leverage pick against Keenan Allen too.
I think like don't be afraid like in the last round to get away from like the next like seven available picks and like
We
scroll where you're looking. I
Dude,
think
you brought this
some of
up
these
last week for DAWG
yeah.
Bowl, was Curtis Samuel,
Yeah, and he's
and
been
he
on
was someone that
he's been
went
on fire.
undrafted, 70, 72 picks for the DAWG Bowl, and he went undrafted, and I don't know if he would've actually spiked in. I think he would've been a couple of
Without the
points
touchdown, no.
short, um, but it was close, and he's that type of player where he can have those spike weeks.
And look, he's playing the Giants, man. Anybody's scoring on us.
Come
I
on,
mean,
come on.
oh god, it's
It's
awful.
sad. It's like I think we have to do, like, counseling to end the session today.
I
It's
mean,
alright.
Logan
I'm
Thomas
a
is
I'm
in
a Pats fan, so we're
Logan
gonna have to
Thomas
bring in
could
a
be in
third
play.
party. Like, I can't.
Logan Thomas could be in play against the Giants if we're talking
Yeah,
tight ends.
we saw a dip in his production, right, last week?
Yeah,
Yeah,
big huge
big
dip.
dip. Big, huge dip, 100%, but you're seeing it's the tight end position just goes in waves, right? It
But
just goes in waves.
in terms of tight ends, do you like so I don't like Cole Kmet this week just because of the new quarterback situation.
That's fine.
Um,
Yeah, I agree with that.
are you fading players like that? Like I'm just not clicking
Yeah,
Kmet.
I don't love Kmet. I would actually rather Mayer, who we're seeing run more routes every single week. He had pretty decent production last week too. 6
I'm just
targets,
like,
5 catches.
should I be nervous? Because we know Kmet's going to get the snaps. He's gonna have he'll be on the
Mhm.
field, but are they gonna have the ball enough? Is the quarterback play gonna affect
I
him?
think they're
Like,
gonna play this game on the ground. Like, that's
yeah,
why I like Rashawn, um, as a piece here. Kmet's a good enough tight end to get, score a touchdown in the end zone. Like, we've seen it.
right.
We've seen a 2 touchdown game from Justin Fields, but we do know that Fields likes him in the red zone, and we don't know if he's gonna be the favorite red zone target under a different QB? And if
Yeah,
they are in the red zone, are they gonna be running the ball? Like, that's
yeah,
sort
it
of
seems more likely.
so I'm definitely soft fading, probably hard fading Komet this
What
week.
about, I think Kincaid's dealing with, like, a concussion right now. Is Dawson in play?
Knox got the targets last week. It's just like, dude, how do you
17
replicate a
yards is not
6 for
enough.
3 for 17 back-to-back weeks? It's now, he's another one that can get in the end zone, but you've seen Josh Allen go to and they've been running the ball a fair amount, like, within the 5, which is,
Yeah,
with Latavius Murray. It's like, is this really the optimal play here?
no,
I
can't
don't
be,
know,
man.
not an NFL coach. We see Trey McBride get more involved.
Yep,
Is I wanna see this next week because he's starting to sort of overtake, um,
Zach Ertz.
the Ertz master snap count. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I don't know his snap cap, but I'm interested to find out.
So he jumps up to 58% and
Wow,
Ertz goes down to 46, so
what is that about?
huge
Because Ertz has been, like, a nice safety blanket for
for
Dobbs.
Doug. Yeah. So if this continues, like, I wanna see this one more
And
week.
also Michael Wilson's going up. Look at Wilson. I
Mhm.
mean, Michael
Yeah,
Wilson's up to 88% over Rondell Moore.
basic yeah, basically every single down.
Like,
Um,
it's gone up ever since week 1.
he's in
Week
all
1 was
2
his
wide
highest.
yeah, he's in all 2 wide receiver sets now, so Raiders.
So, again, I think Michael Wilson's even a sneaky play. I mean, BR, he's hardly going drafted. He's so buried. But Seattle's given up a lot of points. If it's not Marquise
Mhm.
Brown, it's probably gonna be Michael Wilson. They're getting it done through the air.
And you're seeing Michael Mayer's snaps go up every single week now, 66% week 5, 81% week 6, as Austin Hooper obviously takes that dip. So if this continues, which I expect it to, I mean,
Right.
we're even talking about a redraft, like, you might be able to pick this guy up in redraft. So we know Jimmy G likes his tight ends. There's not enough room in this offense for 2 tight ends, but where they're not using Hunter Renfrow 10%, he's likely going to be traded at some point. For a tight end position, Mayer's not out of the question.
Yeah.
So those shares aren't completely dead. There's a little bit of hope, a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I know I probably have around 5% Mayer. I wasn't super heavy on him, but all right, Nick, you have anything for the people before we take off?
No. Good luck drafting this week. We'll see everybody out there in the lobbies.
Yeah, and gonna be back tomorrow night. Gonna try to stream at least a few days in a row after my hiatus of being sick. So appreciate everyone coming out. If you enjoyed today's live stream, smash the like, hit the sub, and I'll catch you on the next one. Pounders.